What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin XCN today. Hit that like button, everybody. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, here we are at about 1.68 cents. Earlier today, I was making a video. I don't know, we were somewhere probably around here, so something in this area, talking about the price going down. Of course, at the end of the video and throughout the video, I did mention how we probably would move up first and then move lower afterwards, right? I didn't think that this was a good time to buy in because we could, of course, slip down. But even though I thought that we were going to move up, I'm still holding off on adding to my short-term positions because I wanted to see how we react after this move up. I will say that was a lot of volume. That's a good look, right? Still a lower high, right? With that much volume, and it looks like a lot of volume, relatively speaking, and it is. But you zoom out, it's really not that much volume at all, right? So people getting excited about this, right? They see a 1 hour candle, this full with that much volume, you think it's just going to keep going through the roof. It makes you FOMO, and of course that's the selling point. Of course it is, because right here, right there, it's our prior areas of support that we literally just broke down from, and we're back testing it as resistance. Of course it was the area that we found resistance. It was the golden ratio, you guys. It was like just, actually, hell, you were just shy of the golden ratio. That's even more bearish. Whenever you reach for it and you don't get to it, this only makes me think more so that we do that we do sell off. However, I will say with XCN, this is general. I want to say this real quick. I actually do want to make a point out of this. Generally speaking, from a high to a low, or a low to a high, whatever kind of fib retracement you're in, reaching for the golden ratio and then not hitting it like this would normally suggest that you do go lower, right? That's a weak look. You oftentimes do go there. But what I will say is XCN, I would say there's a bit of a trading community involved with XCN, right? Normally the big pumpers, traders come around because they see the volatility in the price action. We are not the only ones who are aware of the golden ratio, right? So it's common to get front running. In this sense, for this crypto, perhaps even though it's gotten front run, it might not go lower. It could find support at the 236. What I'm looking for is this, okay? This is what I'm looking for to get into XCN, because I haven't sold any of my long-term positions. That's all still there on the table, but I have let go of my short-term positions. They're sitting in cash. I haven't added back to anything yet other than Cookie. I added to some recently, actually, just literally right at these prices, a little bit lower, but whatever. XCN, if you want to avoid going lower than this, if you want to avoid me loading up my bags, my short-term bags at lower prices, and you want to make me buy higher, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to bounce off the 236 here, right? Bouncing off of prior areas of resistance. And then more than that, what you're going to have to do is get above this high. I don't care where we go. I don't care if we only move up from here to the golden ratio and then we come back down. I don't care. As soon as we bounce off this and then we see prices that are higher than this, I'm buying. I'm buying. I don't care if this is all we do, right? Because likely all that means it doesn't matter at that point if we go lower than what I bought, because at least I know then that this was the low. I'm buying in even at a higher price than I desired to buy, but I'm buying at a more confident area. And it might be a strange concept, especially to people who are new to investing or trading. The concept of sorry, that's not the concept, you guys. The concept of a better buying opportunity being at a higher price. But you'll learn soon enough, because you'll learn that the reason why is you get a less emotional involvement, right? You can be trained and seasoned and all that stuff, but man, if you buy here, even if it were to move up here, there's still some kind of emotional involvement, because you're going to be watching this thing until it moves up, and then if it doesn't move up, if it keeps moving down, you're going to feel like you made the wrong move, right? I won't worry about it if we bounce off the 236 and we go up above it. I don't care if it goes down. Let it go down. I'm not worried about it. It's not going to go below this low. I bought in. I'm in before it goes up to the next high. That's what it would mean to me. So I'm just saying, if you want to avoid satisfying C-Zar, if you want to avoid me seeing the prices that I'm looking for, which are probably around 1.2 to 1.4 cents. I think it'll be actually just below 1.4 cents. Literally, you guys, I think we're going to go right there to 1.35 to 1.4 cents. That's the target area that I think we're going to achieve before we're done, and then we move higher. If you want to avoid that, and you want to prove me wrong and make me look silly and give the trolls a dance floor to dance on with their little troll moves, bounce off the 236. Bounce off 1.6 cents. Go up above this high that you just had. And if you do those two simple things, it doesn't even have to be a closing price above this. You don't even have to close down, right? Just bounce and then break, and I will admit defeat. I'll surrender the white flag. In fact, I will FOMO buy the top of that move right there. It'll probably go on. It'll probably continue at least a little bit, and then it probably does pull back, and I'll probably be red for a moment, but at least it will likely be the end of this move down, and that's all that matters to me, man. That's all that matters to me. I don't care about buying the absolute low. I care about buying whenever it's not going down anymore, or at least trying to. So, sometimes that doesn't happen, right? It's ideal, but you never know. However, rejecting the golden ratio like this, not reaching for it, and then getting below your 236, that is very condemning. Almost always is that condemning. I'm talking like 80% of the time that's condemning. From a relative low to a relative high, the expectation would be that you go to your 1272 to your 1618 area, and that's right between 1.25 cents and 1.35 cents, right in that area there. What we're going to do is we're going to put two horizontal lines here. Okay, one right there, one right there. That one's a little bit lower, but whatever. Something. Let me try and get it right there. Yeah. We'll delete this fib, okay, and we'll see if this area comes up on any other metrics rather than the low you put in yesterday to the high that we just put in before this day started here, okay, the lows and the highs that we put in yesterday. Other than this metric alone for a fib extension, what else would make sense out of that zone? So we look at the 4-hour time frame here. This, to me, seemed like another significant pivot that led us down here, but to me, that is the granddaddy significant pivot there. So we're going to take that low to high right there. And we'll look and we'll see, boom, the 1414 is right there just above this line. The 1618 is right there just below this line. So these lines, this target area does match up with our target fib range. Generally speaking, if you bounce off the 1272, you reject the 100 like you are now, you go down to the 1414 or the 1618. And on top of that, let me say that again. When you find support on the 1272, and you crowd it like this, you don't bounce off it immediately, you likely do go lower, first and foremost. But you did. You bounced off it, and you found resistance at the 100. Normally, you find resistance here at the 100 to the 886, sometimes even the 786. This is often where you find resistance. The lower on this totem pole, if you find resistance here, it's more bearish. If you find resistance here, it's less bearish. If you find resistance here, there's some bullish hope that you might actually be turning the trend around. And if you break through that, it's all but done. You're done moving down. You're going to the upside at that point. But what we did was we rejected the very minimal line to reject, which is more bearish than anything. We likely will go below these lows. And I say we've rejected it. It's a 4-hour time frame. We still have an hour left. We don't know, but it looks like we've rejected it, okay? No confirmation yet. If we do, we likely will go to the 1414. That's our next target, if not the 1618. What's very common about the 1414 is that you actually don't bounce right off of it. You often do go a little bit through it. What's a little bit through it? This zone that we just identified. So, and that's off of a very significant pivot there. Let's see if we can make sense out of it through some other means too. Looking at the weekly time frame. No, maybe the 3-day time frame. Let's do it. A 3-day time frame. We could take a relative low down here to a relative high up here, and that is your 382 area. I would be absolutely surprised, totally floored, if we did not find support at the 382. It's extremely common in powerful maneuvers such as this, right, from your relative low to your relative high, to come down and find support right at your 382. In strong endeavors like this, that's very common to do. It's also very uncommon throughout any endeavor to go just below your 382, just below it, and then come back up the same day, wick down below it, close above it on that same day, and then you rip from there. Only really do you expect that to happen. You always expect to hit the 382 on any retracement, really. You will hit the 236 every time, of course, but you oftentimes don't find support there. But you look to find support specifically at the 382 when you are in a strong trend up, or if you have a very powerful move that precedes it, right? And this, I don't know, a 20x in 2 weeks' time seems appropriate to me. So yeah, I think that you hit the 382 at a minimum, which tells me you're not done, right? And then, of course, it's very common to go just below the 382. There's so many things that line up with this area, you guys. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. It's Thanos. You know what else is Thanos? Is 10 cents. Because after we hit this price that's below about 1.4 cents, above 1.25 cents, somewhere in this area, after we hit that price, we are going to prices that are dramatically higher. We're going to see prices that are above 10 cents. That's happening. I'm so confident in this low zone. I'm just going to take the high end of it right there, right? This is not appropriate at all to do fibs beforehand, but I'm very confident in this area here. The target that I would expect to be hit at a minimum is 10.9 cents. Like, we're going above 11 cents. This drop only increased our likelihoods of going higher, okay? Genuinely. It genuinely did, especially because of the way it dropped. It's super controlled. It's not sporadic. It's not erratic. It's very tame after this explosive move like this. There's no question in my mind 11 cents is the minimum target. Even 40 cents should be considered. And I know that might sound crazy. The trolls might have a field day with that. But whenever we're at 40 cents and we're celebrating with our next 23x, they're not going to be anywhere to be found. So why does it matter, right? They could dance and celebrate down here at the lows that we were calling for anyways, right? I definitely did not call for it at all throughout all this range. Most of the time I thought we were going to move up, but before we even actually, let's see, what it was at 1.8 cents, which isn't that much higher than here, right? But before we actually had this final drop, I got on board with the dump party. All I'm trying to say is the trolls won't be able to celebrate down here for too much longer. And even if they do, even if they're talking loud right now, they're not going to be anywhere if we do end up making that miraculous move all the way up to 40 cents. I don't think we go to 40 cents, but I'm just saying that is a possibility to consider. My genuine expectation is we go to about 11 cents to 25 cents, somewhere in that range, and I am in favor of this 15.4 cent and higher price action, right? Of course, we could stop lower. There are a lot of people that bought down here, and I say a lot of people. I'm sure there are a lot of people that bought down here, but how many of them are still holding, I don't know. But if they bought down here, we start getting above 12 cents, 14 cents, those areas, those people have 100x under their belt at that point. Okay, that's 100x in like a very like less than a half year. So there's going to be some profit taking up there. So I do assume we can see prices above 20 cents. I do assume we can see new all-time highs, but it really does depend on how much profit taking takes place at these 10 to 15 cent areas. Okay, 11 cent to 15 cent areas, I should say. But here we are. Here we are now. I have to say, also a little food for thought, right? Talking about how I feel like a lot of people do trade this thing and they have their eyes on things, and we're not the only ones who are aware of things, right? I'm talking to you, right? And understand that you are part of multiple thousands of people that watch these videos every day, right? And I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for that. But I'm telling you this, you are not the only person who's aware of what I'm saying here. Even all of you who are watching this video, we could quintuple the amount of people that watch this video on a daily basis. We are not even close to the amount of people who are aware of this trading zone, of the 382 as an area for support. You know, just as we rejected the golden ratio here, we just shy of it, of our relative golden ratio, we could be finding support just above our 382, a very common area to go whenever you reject off of or when you consolidate off of a very powerful move like this. We're not the only ones aware of this information. Trading bots, sophisticated traders, long time investing trader mind types. I don't know. Probably you don't have those people in crypto, but just people are aware of this is all I'm trying to say. So even though I fully am expecting that this happens, because it's statistically likely, regardless of any of the other BS, it's completely like I feel like it's inevitable to go down there. Even though I feel like that, we could just bounce from here. We don't have to go there. Nothing has to happen. But I am expecting it to happen. We'll see if it does. 1 hour time frame, got up into the overbought zone, rejected it. That to me, it does just look like a rejection. It seems like we would be moving down. Everything about this looks like a bull trap, right? Like quite literally everything. Even the fact that you didn't reach your golden ratio, everything about it says bull trap to me. I will say, if you can find support at 1.6 cents and then move up above that high, it'll change my mind. But that's what it would take. Of course, I suppose if you find support here and you move up above that high, it could too. But even then, I don't know if this would convince me, right? If we moved up right now above this high, we could be doing some kind of rabbit ears thing, or we got like a little double top. You know, that wouldn't convince me as much. It would convince me if we went all the way back down here, back tested previous areas of resistance, found support at the 236 on the fib. It would convince me at that point, right? But right here, it could just be more shenanigans of the same move before we actually make the drop down. So if you were to move up from here, I will say, I guess, if you do move up from here, what would convince me is probably getting above 2 cents. And if I have to FOMO in at 2 cents, I will, because 2 cents is nothing compared to 11 cents, is nothing compared to 20 cents or more than that, right? So I'm rambling at this point. This is normally the part of the video where I end it. Let's talk about something real quick that we don't talk about every video, but we talk about it every now and then, right? That's cycle high predictions, because people enjoy that, and a lot of people are. I'm surprised actually at how many people are not aware of what I think. I get these questions all the time where I think XCN is going to go. People are like, "Do you think it'll reach 50 cents? Do you think it'll reach $1? What's the realistic possibilities of XCN seeing $1.20?" Like, yes, is my answer. It's yes, it's going to. That's from a high to a low. The minimum target is 82 cents, right? And I think we're going to blow right past it. I don't think you see a move like this. I don't think you do a 20x in 2 weeks and maintain your consolidation at this kind of level, nice and tight and just well maintained throughout the past month. I don't think you see that, and then you just stop at your minimum target. No, I don't think so. I think you go above that. So the next target is the 1414 at $1.82. We've already learned throughout this video and several others that I've made, I'm sure if you've watched them, that the 1414 is not a stopping point in itself. It's actually just through, it's more of a stopping area, right? You tend to wick above it and then close below it. So something just above $1.82, what is that? That's like $2, $2.40, right? If we were to go all the way up here, that's $2.57. That's just above the 1414. 182 to 257, that's a huge difference percentage percentage wise, right? Especially from this price, we're talking about a difference of like 108x to 150x, 148x, right? It's a huge difference, but up there it's not that big of a difference. And all I'm trying to say is it's very common. If we're not going to go to the 1272, where's the next area? It's $1.82. But it's very common with this 1414 to wick just above it. I believe we're going to see something that's around $2.40, $2.50 personally, if not something that's at least above $2. We're at 1.7 cents now. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if you want to say, screw it, I'm not waiting for this lower low to come, that's good enough for me, I wouldn't blame you. I have to hold myself back. Man, I wake up in the middle of the night thinking, I should just buy it, screw it. Right? Literally, I'm okay with swallowing my pride, man. I really am. I'm good at it to a fault, bad at it maybe, I don't know. I'm good at it because there was a part of me that was like, you know what? Screw it. I just want to FOMO here. I know it's going to go lower, but I just want to get in because I don't even care if it goes lower to where I wanted it to go. I just want to be a part of the move anyways. That's just how I am. Right? And I ate those emotions. Anybody that ate those emotions on here, I'm sure we all felt those emotions when you're looking at this. You look at a candle like that, you think it's going to keep going higher, but I just stuck with the game plan, and oftentimes when you do that, it actually does play out better. But just trust me, man, I get it. I get it. There's nothing wrong with it. If you, and not financialized, not a financial advisor, but if you say, screw it, I know it's going to go lower, but I'm down for those higher prices anyways, I just want to get in now, I would not say that's a bad idea. I'm just, there's none of these lower prices are promised. But for what it's worth, in my 8 years of technical analysis doing this stuff, I would say with a very high statistical, like 80% or more chance, you guys, statistical probability, we will see lower prices below 1.4 cents. Okay, but be aware, you're not the only people aware of these targets. It's never a bad thing to have buy orders set a little bit above where you might expect to buy in these very obvious buy zones. So I've got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We're going to do the LRO chart prime real quick and just see real quick. I want to I might do a video, like a tutorial video on this, because I've been really working through it, and I've watched some tutorial videos and read up on it and stuff, and even like how the owner goes about, like what he says about it. But there's some things that there's some strategies myself that I've worked out with this thing already, like the invalidation level. It's not so much, I don't know, this is just a theory. It's not how it's actually supposed to be applied, but when I learned about it at first, you can wick to it. Just going through it invalidates it, but oftentimes you don't wick to it, and that invalidates, because the blue line means that you're in a downtrend. So if you invalidate it, that means the downtrend's invalidated, you're going to move up. Well, oftentimes that's not the case, right? Oftentimes you do invalidate the downtrend only to continue it immediately after. So what I've noticed is these invalidation levels, they're actually really good short-term selling points. Oftentimes, right? Just like here, right? I mean, I guess that was an invalidation level for that reason. But if you bought here at your reversion and you sold at the invalidation level, you might not have gotten the best price, but you still got a pretty damn good price, right? Here, this validation level, probably not a good time to buy, but again, it's different. I need to come up with a better way of saying this, but it's different when you're trending. We're trending down overall, so the bullish implications are going to get eaten up more than the bearish implications. Well, I don't know if that makes sense, but I want to get my thoughts right. I'm probably gonna have to write a script or something, because I want to do a more in-depth kind of explanation as to how I use this thing. I really do find it helpful, but also, even though I find it helpful, that doesn't mean it's 100% accurate. I did not buy when it said reversion here. I did not buy when it said reversion here, though I had a pretty strong inclination this one was the real one. When it says reversion, that doesn't mean it has to pump. Really, all that means is that this thing's reverting back to the mean. That's all it is, which would imply lower prices, or at least that you wouldn't. If you revert here, it would imply higher prices, I mean, or at the very least, you would stop moving down at the pace that you're moving down at, but it's not perfect. It's not always perfect, right? I'm just rambling at this point, you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. I just wanted to look at this for confirmation. Yeah, I think we're going down. You break below 1.5 cents, and it's over until we hit 1.4 cents or just below there, right? All right, take it easy. Bye-bye.